Kathy, Vic is here in your what? Where am I at? Am I in your car? In your bedroom? Am I in your bed? Come on, be honest. Come on. I don't mind. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. That's how it works with me. And if you're not nice to me, well then, I'm not interested. La la la. How can that be? How could that possibly be? If someone isn't interested in this work, how is it that I don't howl in mourning and like a soul cry of when will they get it? When will they get it? When will they get it? That's what I want to explain. Um, I did a little ditty yesterday after having received quite the healing. Did I receive it? Yes. Could I have 101? Could I have had that healing without that alchemy of another and their profound gifts of love and acceptance and wisdom and grace? Could I? No. Mm-mm. Just like I couldn't have really understood what it means to be loved by someone I love. How am I supposed to achieve that without someone actually loving me? Which I had someone who really loved me, and I really loved him. And we never talked about it because it wasn't okay to love each other. It wasn't allowed. It wasn't in the rules. It was wrong. It was bad. It was naughty. And this love was morphed into being quite a dangerous and lethal and harmful thing. And it was when I saw that morphing going on, this profound, angelic love, seen as an insult and a weapon. Well, time for me to step away. Doesn't matter how profound the love is. That's a misunderstanding of what's being offered and what was offered me. You think I was the only one who didn't understand? I want to talk about the healing I received and what happened this morning as a result. Yesterday I told Melissa what I thought was going on in my body. Basically the interpretations I had made. And being a nurse, of course my symptoms are going to take on certain things, and I think that they told me if I looked in Buron's book, I'll see what the cause of this particular congestion is. And once I see that, I'll decode it, and I won't have it anymore. So I saw it once, and it shook me so hard that I didn't want to even accept it. And it was after that I had a hit of light so extreme that I was knocked off of my chair, and I woke up and I found my leg hooked to the dining room table, and the other one akimbo. They'd hit me that hard. I couldn't accept the decoding. So I'll work on that. But what Melissa and I were able to understand, and I came to her home to release, actually, to befriend and love and understand and release, was what I saw when she told me what she saw. I explained my physical symptoms, my discomfort, my fear, and my interpretations. And she saw this being that was clutching me here and suckling this breast, which is significantly smaller than the other, always has been. And that's why. and they were strapped on around my hip and around my groin, clinging for dear life. And I was allowing the clinging because I didn't know what else to do. And when she was talking about it, I saw that, but I saw it. It was very odd. I saw it almost like the eclipse energy, but from above, where the white light is like that, and and um, and this being was very tortured. Was in. There's a. If you've ever seen someone, if you witnessed a hard death, you know what I'm talking about. Many, 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 many people have not. The hardest death I ever witnessed in my life, and I'm a hospice nurse. I'm a stone cold death walker. The hardest death, the most suffering I ever saw a physical being go through in a transition was my mom. And I was 8 months pregnant at the time and on bed rest in Stowe. I stayed with her in that room and witnessed it. It was gruesome. I've never seen anything like it. I don't expect I'll ever have to see anything like that again. Why would I? I just keep calling it a pain body. When Melissa was there and she told me what was going on, I saw it, but it was bright white. And I thought to myself as I was standing there, well, if you're bright white, you can pop off and like have a freaking party, man. You're healed. Don't you get it? So it's like that. Just, would you please just pull yourself off and pull yourself together and get the fuck off of me, was how I was feeling when I saw that. It's like, what? That's why I feel so shitty? That's why I feel all of this disease? Really? Yeah, I know. I sat down though. I calmed down. I did this really wonderful meditation where this I don't know, think of a creature, my precious, like that, only like more tortured and just full of the pain of the world. I want you to think about what has to be going through. Trigger warning, okay? A precious 9-year-old boy's soul who comes from an abusive family and wants to get away and wants to talk with God and sees priests as people who have a direct access. They have something by virtue of even where they're living. It's obvious they have something that boy needs and wants and desires. Imagine what happens as that priest enters that child's mind and emotions and free will and body. Imagine that. Imagine carrying that for a humanity. For a lifetime. Unlanguaged. And imagine it being lived out by people in my life who are more than willing to prove that they were in control. They have the power. They don't need to understand. They don't need to feel. They need to act. Imagine that. And then this morning I knew I wasn't complete. And I saw, again, but bright white. And like before, when I said, hey, you're bright white. I know you think you're a black hole of despair and disaster, but you're not. You're not hurting anybody. In fact, you're healing people. Do you understand why? Look at you. Can you look? Just look at your arm. I know it's hard to move your neck. I know it hurts. Look. You're solar white. You're beyond alive. You need to get down. And they did. And then I couldn't really figure out, well, does she hold my hand? Or does she like do the caduceus thing? Or no, and she just went boop, and she turned into the chakras, and I'm seeing it's okay. I'm not carrying any darkness. I'm carrying this orange, red, yellow passion. Clarified. And it's very Gaian. And it's very Antarian. And then it's swirling with this beautiful blue, crystal blue whale energy that's Magartha. And there's 12 of those. And they're in my chakras. That's my chakra system. That level of healing. A Pisces sun conjunct Mercury retrograde in Pisces, directly opposed for a lifetime with the North Node and Pluto retrograde as one on the same degree. Venus in Aries, the moon in Gemini. I came here to crack some codes, and they had to do with what? Is it evil? Is it perversity? Is it the dark? Is it pain? Is it karma? Is it a consciousness? Is it a plan? Is it a project? You get to decide that. Is it the ravings of a mad woman who just didn't get enough love? Well, maybe to you it is. I don't know. It isn't to me. And that's how I healed this morning. What was that thing? What was that thing clinging to, suckling from, depleting? Huh? What was that parasite feeding off of? Well, there's someone who's actually observing the tail, so there's an observer to all of this. So let's not forget that. But in real life, why do you think people came around? It's because they knew I was big. And this morning, one by one, by one, by one, I got to examine my relationships, my life circumstances, and my attitudes. And I realized, oh my, oh my, oh my. How many people in my life do I know? Do I connect with? Do I resonate with? Because the expectation is that I witness their pain. How many? And one by one, by one, by one, by one, they leaped off of me. They stopped suckling and they got off. And then they faced me. And I looked at them. And I said, today's the day. It's been what I've been saying for a year and a half. I'm not healing you anymore. I'm not doing this passive thing with you anymore. You don't get to crawl onto me and suck. That was the agreement. I've been a good mother. You've been very naughty children. You've been asleep. You fell asleep at the tit. And you absorbed all that pain, and you created and promoted and ate and drank and screwed all that pain just so you could stay on the tit. I'm done. That's your karma. Find another tit or figure your shit out. but I'm done. I mean, I love you. How could I not? How could I not? Look what I did for you. Now you get to heal yourselves. I'm done. That's pretty powerful shit, isn't it? And then I realized, oh, the friends I have, the people I actually know are my family now, they're the ones who they're not leading with their pain. They're not most in touch with their suffering. So I'm not expected to stand down, not get my needs met, and give. And it was such an unconscious thing that I agreed to do. That was the lifetime. That these people, they don't really like it when I lead with that. They don't. It's kind of gross. It's sort of like a bad note. It's like, do you have to bring that up? Really? Can't you see it's a beautiful day? Can't you see I love you? Come here. What will please you right now? Anything? Are you okay? Okay. All right. Because, see, I'm in rehabilitation, and I fully accept that. But the person who's like the head counselor is who was suckled from. It's who sustained me. It's who pushed me into the car and made me go to the teachers and up to Lookout Mountain and up to Leadville and to my first date with my ex-husband and my first date with with a lot of people. One in particular. Yeah, get in the car and on the way home we'll give you visions and you can decide. You're not going to be doing that unless you understand what the hell is being asked of you. Oh, you say yes? All right, we're going to show you again. We don't think you understand. Ready? And I got the vision again. And they said, so, Kathy, what do you want to do? I said, oh, hell yeah. And a course was set. Are you gifted with that kind of prescience? It blows some people's minds, you know. If you knew when the nodes were, when the times were, when you had big portals where you could make a decision and it looked really likely that you'd probably die, would you like that kind of information? I like it, and I have it, and I'm okay with it. I don't question it anymore. Because this morning, who would have the Jupiterness, the earniness, the cheekiness, the confidence to do what I did? Just somebody who sees. Every single person who ever did that to me, they are strong beyond belief. I wouldn't have let them latch on had they not been equals. Get it? Equals, but in deep misunderstanding. I was too, obviously. Is it allowed? Is it a sin? Is it naughty? Does it bar you from ascension? Does it bar you from peace? If you misunderstand something and for a lifetime act out based on those understandings? Well, last time I checked, that was what was called life. It's fine. Some people are in a misunderstanding until the day they die. Take a look at Mr. Trump. All right? So I'm not putting anybody down for not understanding anything. I didn't understand either. It's precisely why I'm doing this video, because I finally understand. It's like, well, that makes a lot of sense. I should probably pass this out. If it's helping me, it probably will help other people. So if you have an owie from this, well, you have an owie from this. You were triggered. Good. Now's the time. So better that you get triggered in a video than in real life, I tell you. Some of these cosmic 2x4s are big. And they're not understood. If you don't have a certain refinement it all just feels like I'm getting beaten up and like you're a victim and shit. So it's like, okay, all right, I know, but I'm not gonna stand witness as you do that, because for me that means you get to latch on, and I ain't doing that no mo. So I will tell you what I think, and if you don't like me, run away. Run away. That's fine, because you know why? I'm a whale. It's the only thing that's making any sense to me anymore. I'm so at peace, and I feel so congruent. I feel normal. I feel normal. And I know that that means that I'm at a place where I'm holding, it's almost unlanguageable how much, and the depth and the beauty and the, I can't. I can tell you about how I feel when I think about the Shiva energy and where I'm at with that. I can tell you how I feel when I'm in the Cryon energy and that level. I can tell you how I feel with the Sananda stuff, which is very uncomfortable at this point. Or I could tell you how I feel as a whale, which is, I love you. I trust you. I can tell right away you don't trust yourself and you think I'm lying. That's fine. I know you're strong. And I know you set up some problems for yourself. And you're trying to fix them. And guess what? Now's the time. Because I know how strong you are. I wouldn't have asked you to leave had you not been bursting with light. Had you not been a full-on freaking master and just not realized it yet. So here I am. Have you heard me? When's it my turn? Everybody around me who's all fucked up. They are fucked up and relatively happy. They go to sleep with other people at night who say they love them. They are doing okay. They're finding peace. And it may be peace through chaos, and it may be peace through discontent and anger and complaining and bitterness, but they're happy as pigs in freaking manure. I can guarantee you that. That's what they thrive on. It's a neurochemical wash of agony, and I lived it for a lifetime because I could. And you might think this is highfalutin and hoity-toity, that I'm thinking of myself as some big, huge thing. Well, I kind of am. Take one look at what I went through. And the funny thing is, I won't reveal most of it. There's only one person who knows, and she doesn't know all of it. And it's something that I just choose not to be challenged on. Because if I am, I'll break the person who challenges me. I enjoy that. Don't push me. There's a place in me. The tornado lady. And Melissa saw it. I am a destroyer. And I am patient. And I am wise. And I am kind. But things have to end. You can call that a destruction. It's only because you believe yourself smarter than Creator. There is no such thing as destruction. Look at it bigger. Just look at it bigger. It's ridiculous focusing on that. Taking the Jesus story and spending a millennia focused on a week of betrayal and humiliation and torture and death, where the highest sacrifice, the highest gift is to be invited into a cannibalistic rite. And it is a private club you must earn membership to do. And the membership requires that you give what? Your rational thought. Your questioning mind. Your deeper Akash. Your galactic awareness. Please partake in our feast. You think I'm here to break a paradigm or two? I do. You think a whale gives a shit if people are hurt? I do. I'm living, breathing proof that I care. I spent a lifetime caring. I spent a lifetime needing to make sure the other person was comfortable and not intimidated. It was because I didn't know who I was, and I knew that. Because of Melissa, because of my friend Nancy, because of Sunny, because of my beloved Sam, and because of the heart that beats within me. I can contain much. I can forgive much. I have to. I can see much. And I've softened. And I've decided to take my responsibility seriously. And as a result, I'm holding others in higher regard. I am no longer bleeding on a cross for my fellow man. I am no longer mourning their grave misunderstandings. I am no longer buffeted and bruised and battered by cruelty, unthinkingness, immodesty, disrespect, arrogance, selfishness, greed, and common lust. It's not my language. I used to find it very distressing. I spent a lifetime arguing with it, hating it, and being violated by it. A pure soul who came in who didn't understand a damn thing, didn't know who she was, so she took on everything as hers. That ended this morning. I'll review this tape, but I'm putting it out before that. And I think it stands as a very fine example of why, indeed, this Son of Antares thing, and maybe it was just till I could have a new natal chart. You think? Maybe I always had that Antares energy. Maybe that is what was nourishing this innate body that demonstrates a depletion of my maternal energy because of what I chose to, agreed to do, and very expertly did this lifetime. It doesn't mean I don't have relationships with every single person. But they're no longer talking to that pain body, and they're no longer talking to a host. They're no longer able to take on a parasitic stance with me. I finally figured out a couple of things, and it just makes me an inhospitable host. This is a very powerful piece of information, and I'm going to release it. After that, I'm going to change the header and change the artwork for my website. It's going to say Kathy Vick, Masters Among Us. And then I'm going to release Volume 1 of Masters Among Us, which honors Melissa Elmore Davis. And it begins a new chapter where I am not dancing with my pain body, I'm not arguing with it or doing this to it. Like Melissa said, will you please stop doing that? There's a different way of handling this. It's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And the only thing that dear one needs is to be cried with, which I spend a lot of time doing. I can assure you, in my car, in bathrooms at work, on my bed, on my balcony, in my lover's arms, in front of my captors, and in response to my monsters. I'm certain whales cry. But I can remember toward the end when I would cry on my bed. A voice would come to me in this presence and they'd say, but it was me saying it. It was really weird. And I'd say, you understand there's nothing to cry about, right? Are you beginning to get that? I just need to find out. You do get that, right? And I'd be on the bed going, yes, I understand. and the physical release would go on and on and on. And my eyes leak now when I'm happy and moved. And they leak and sometimes I'm moved because I'm sad, but I'm not sad. There's something that just evokes sadness because it's freaking sad. And if I told you, you'd cry. So it would be inappropriate to look at something like that and go, that's just another day in the neighborhood. Yeah, I'm just living the dream. Fuck that. Have a whole wardrobe of affects. Have a whole awareness. Feel deeply. Feel proudly. Feel loudly if you need to. If you need to cry or rage or whatever. But I think there comes a time when you realize it's got nothing to do with either the situation or the person. I mean, it might be fucked, and they might be fucked, but it's your response to it that's really fucked. And what's fucked anyway? It feels good to cry. It pushes you to the next level, you know. It's a release. It's very important. And those who don't cry, they're quite dry, aren't they? They're quite dry. And I don't like dry myself. So I think let the waters flow. I think it's very unusual. There's an eclipse and they keep saying, well, there's going to be a deluge. And there's Texas. And what really bothers me about that, I'm just going to say it. Comment if you want. Prior to this event, I saw a video of some scalar waves going from the Antarctic. Huge waves. I mean, they were like this, and they went pew, 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 pew. And they hit Hawaii, and then there was another, and it seemed like the trajectory had changed, and it went to the South America. Antarctica. You know what Putin did before Trump even was inaugurated? They used the U.S. military to evacuate Antarctica. And they began to have some videos about something that's massive that's on the move down there. And there's a lot of talk about Antarctica in the sort of the deep clean area of something weird's going on. And it's a bit slidey because it's connected with the Nazi stuff and some stuff that, you know, they'd like to remain private. But I saw that scalar stuff, and I knew that was something that was not right. That was not a friend. That was an imp. And then this flood. That's all I'll say. Namaste.